Chapter 1. The Arrival. As the heavy gates of the maximum security prison clanged shut behind me, the realization set in. I was now a part of this unforgiving world. The harsh fluorescent lights flickered overhead as I stepped into the vast echoing hallway, my senses overwhelmed by the cacophony of shuffling feet and distant shouts. I was Marcus Marcy Reed, once a free street artist, now a prisoner stripped of my freedom, yet yearning for expression. The daily routines loomed ahead, counting hours, waiting for meals that tasted of nothing, and navigating the unwritten rules of prison life. I could feel the weight of uncertainty and fear in the air, pressing down on my chest. But amidst the dread, a flicker of hope ignited within me. I knew that hidden somewhere within these cold walls lay the possibility of transformation. If only I could find a way to paint my story on this bleak canvas. Chapter 2. Painted Walls. As the sun rises over the prison yard, Marcus Marcy Reed stands before the blank, gray walls that have confined him. To the untrained eye, they are merely barriers of concrete. But to Marcy, they whisper of possibilities. Each stroke of his hidden murals tells a story, tales of dreams lost, identities reclaimed, and the unyielding spirit of survival. He recalls vividly the vibrant street art from his youth, the adrenaline of creating something beautiful amid chaos. With makeshift tools crafted from fragments of discarded items, Marcy brings color to an otherwise drab existence. His diary entries reveal the emotional release that art provides, an escape from the daily grind of prison life. These murals become his voice, a silent rebellion against the sterile environment surrounding him. Through each brushstroke, Marcy finds a sense of purpose, transforming despair into powerful expressions of resilience, reminding himself and others that even in darkness, beauty can thrive. Chapter 3. A Scholar's Plight. As I sit on the cold metal bench, the starkness of prison life envelops me, contrasting sharply with the vibrant lecture halls I once knew. I, Leila Sanchez, was a college professor, a beacon of wisdom in my students' lives. Now I'm just a number in this system. My mind races back to that fateful day, the confusion and fear I felt when I was wrongfully accused. The whispers of my colleagues, the looks of pity, each moment haunts me. Here in this bleak world I cling to the fragments of my identity, piecing together lessons from literature and philosophy. I frequently pen reflections on justice and dignity, hoping to inspire hope in others. My spirit remains unbroken. Each diary entry becomes a lifeline, a reminder of the woman I was and the champion I strive to be. The fight for my innocence is ongoing, fueled by the resilience of a scholar's heart amidst confinement. Chapter 4. Seeking Justice. As the dim lights flickered in Leila Sanchez's cell, uncertainty weighed heavily on her heart. Her days were consumed by law books and frantic phone calls with well-meaning but overwhelmed lawyers. With each passing moment, the reality of her wrongful conviction clawed at the edges of her dignity. She reflected on her former life, lecturing passionate students about justice, freedom, and the power of truth, now ironically trapped in a world that seemed to forget the innocence she fought to prove. In her diary, Lila poured out her frustrations and dreams of exoneration, vowing that the fight was far from over. The echoes of distant conversations reminded her of the vibrant classrooms she missed. Yet within those dark walls, she found a flicker of hope. Her resolve to reclaim her identity grew stronger. Each day was a step toward justice, not only for herself, but also for those who had been silenced by a flawed system. Chapter 5. Loyalty and Betrayal. Darnell D. Money Jackson leaned against the cold concrete wall of his cell, his mind drifting back to the streets he once ruled. The taste of power had been intoxicating. Friends turned brothers, bonds stronger than blood. Yet loyalty had often faltered under the weight of greed. He reminisced about nights spent counting money, surrounded by those who'd betray him in the end. Each anecdote played like a haunting melody in his mind, memories of trust shattered by whispers of deceit. As he penned his thoughts, D-Money reflected on the faces of those he once considered allies, now shadows in his past. The harsh lesson of betrayal cut deeper than any prison bar. It was a reminder that the life he chose was fraught with peril. With every word, he confronted the truths he had long avoided, seeking redemption in the wreckage of his old life, a chance to reclaim himself beyond the betrayal and violence. Chapter 6. The Cost of Choices. As Darnell D. Money Jackson stares at the faded brick walls of his cell, he reflects on the life he once led, a whirlwind of power, money, and fleeting loyalty. The haunting memories of his days at the helm of a drug empire flood back like the distant echo of sirens. Each choice he made seemed justified at the time, yet now they bear the weight of regret. D-Money shares poignant anecdotes of friends who disappeared into the abyss of betrayal and violence, reminding him of the fragile nature of trust in a world ruled by street code. He thinks about his family, his younger brother who he pulled into the game, and the pain etched on his mother's face during visits. The guilt of knowing his choices shattered lives envelops him, forcing a commitment to self-reflection. In these moments of solitude, Darnell grapples with the realization that redemption is a path laden with responsibility and sacrifice. Choices that once defined him now serve as lessons guiding his quest for change. Chapter 7, A Love Story Gone Wrong. I never imagined my life would lead me behind these bars, yet here I am, Evelyn Evie Thompson, a grandmother serving time for a crime of passion. The memories of that fateful night haunt me like shadows in the corners of this cold cell. It was love, reckless and consuming, that pushed me to a breaking point. My heart raced, echoing the chaos of emotions swirling inside me, and in a moment of despair and longing, I lost control. Now, I reflect on the warmth of family gatherings, the laughter of grandchildren, and the pure joy of simple moments, none of which can ever be reclaimed. This place is a stark reminder of how love can transform into something sinister. My diary serves as a sanctuary where I pen lessons learned through grief and regret, hoping that sharing my story will prevent others from following a similar path into darkness. Chapter 8, Wisdom Across Generations. As the sun dipped below the prison walls, casting long shadows across the courtyard, Evelyn Evie Thompson sat with a group of younger inmates, their faces illuminated by the fading light. Life can be a harsh teacher, she began, her voice soothing yet firm, but there's always room for forgiveness, both of yourself and others. Sharing her own story of love gone wrong, Evie's tale unfolded with raw honesty. The crime of passion that led her to this place weighed heavily on her heart, yet she transformed her pain into mentorship. She emphasized the importance of choices and the potential for change, urging them to look within. One troubled inmate, whose eyes were filled with doubt, nodded slowly, drawing strength from Evie's wisdom. In this fragile moment, a bond formed, lives intertwining, sharing hope and healing beyond the confines of steel bars. With each word, Evie left an indelible mark, igniting a spark of resilience in those around her. Chapter 9, The Tech Whisperer. Jamal J. Johnson leaned against the cold, concrete wall of his cell, tapping rhythmically on his makeshift keyboard, a contraption he engineered from scrap parts. The prison's outdated security systems were like a playground for someone with his skills, and every day brought a new challenge. You see, he scribbled, there's a certain freedom in hacking the system. Laughter echoed through the blocks as he shared stories of how he managed to borrow Wi-Fi from the staff lounge, allowing him to send coded messages to his family. Amid the isolation, humor became his lifeline. I'm not just surviving, I'm thriving, he joked in his diary, recounting pranks he pulled on the guards, like rerouting announcements to play snippets of his favorite music. Each line brimmed with hope, not just to escape physically, but to escape the mental confines of prison life. By using tech as a tool, Jamal proved that creativity can flourish even behind bars, and resilience thrives in the most unlikely places. Chapter 10, Reconnecting with the Outside. Jamal J. Johnson leans against the cold concrete wall of his cell, fingers dancing over the keys of an old laptop he managed to wire into the prison's ancient network. The screen flickers as he hacks through firewalls and security protocols, determined to reclaim a sense of freedom that the bars can't take away. He writes diary entries filled with humor, masking the ache of separation from his family. Today, I sent my sister a message through the library's email system. She replied, laughing at my attempt to be a tech guru. I can almost hear her voice. It feels like I'm not completely lost. His thoughts drift to the weekends spent with his niece, playing video games and chatting about life outside. Jamal dreams of reuniting with them, plotting ways to bridge the gap, crafting plans for the future, hopeful they're only a heartbeat away. Through technology, he finds connection, a lifeline in the desolation of prison life. Chapter 11. The System's Shadows. In this intermission, we delve deeper into the complexities of the prison system through the voices of those who navigate its maze daily, social workers and prison staff. As they share their insights, listeners gain a broader perspective on the challenges and obstacles inmates face in their pursuit of rehabilitation. One social worker, Amy, speaks candidly about the emotional toll of advocating for individuals who often feel invisible. Many come in broken, but I've seen them rebuild. It's a long road, filled with setbacks. Corrections Officer Mark adds, "We're not just guarding inmates. We're part of a system that can either support change or reinforce despair." Their testimonies intertwine with the ambient sounds of bustling corridors and clanging metal, reminding us that the prison holds more than just inmates. It houses a complex web of human stories, each worthy of compassion and understanding. Chapter 12. A Day in the Life. The morning bell echoes through the concrete corridors, rousing inmates from their restless slumber. Marcus Marcy Reed rises early, sketching ideas for a new mural on scraps of paper, his mind a canvas waiting to be filled. Meanwhile, Lila Sanchez sits at a small table, combing through legal documents, her determination unwavering despite the weight of her wrongful accusation. Darnell D-Money Jackson paces in the yard, engaging in light-hearted banter with his fellow inmates, all the while reflecting on the choices that led him here. As the afternoon sun filters through the barred windows, Evelyn Evie Thompson guides a group of young women in a discussion about resilience, her wise words infusing hope into their troubled hearts. In the tech lab, Jamal J. Johnson huddles over a computer terminal, cracking jokes while devising a plan to send messages to the outside world. Each character's routine interweaves moments of struggle and strength, encapsulating the essence of life behind bars. Chapter 13. Moments of Humanity. In the harsh landscape of prison life, where isolation often reigns, small acts of kindness bloom like wildflowers through concrete cracks. Marcus Marcy Reed remembers a quiet afternoon when he shared his hidden art supplies with a new inmate struggling to fit in, their laughter echoing through the dreary walls. Lila Sanchez reflects on a time she organized a small study group, helping her fellow inmates earn their GEDs, a light of hope amidst their despair. Meanwhile, Darnell D-Money Jackson recounts the day he risked his reputation to stand up for a young inmate being bullied, realizing that loyalty extends beyond mere survival. Evelyn Evie Thompson shares a poignant moment when she comforted a distressed inmate, wrapping her arms around her as they both sobbed over lost loves. And Jamal J. Johnson finds humor in the mundane, forging friendships through tech mischief, reminding everyone that laughter can bridge the deepest divides. Within these moments, humanity thrives, illuminating the shared bond of their existence.